Hey y'all! Ever wondered what people in other countries really think of Americans? It's a question that can lead to some pretty eye-opening and sometimes surprising answers. It's a fascinating question, right? Different cultures have unique perspectives, and understanding these can help bridge gaps and foster mutual respect. Today, we're taking a trip to Russia, a country full of history, culture, and some pretty interesting perspectives on the good old US of A. From the iconic Red Square to the bustling streets of Moscow, Russia offers a rich tapestry of experiences and viewpoints. Russia and America have had a complicated relationship, to say the least. From the Cold War to modern-day diplomacy, the two nations have seen their fair share of ups and downs. But beyond the politics, there's a whole lot of curiosity. Russians are genuinely interested in what life is like across the ocean, and they often have a mix of admiration and skepticism. Russians, like people everywhere, are curious about the world around them. They consume American movies, music, and news, forming their own opinions and sometimes misconceptions. And America, with its big personality and even bigger global footprint, tends to spark a lot of conversations. From Hollywood blockbusters to political headlines, the US is a constant topic of interest. So grab your ushankas and your sense of humor, because we're diving into the world of Russian perceptions of Americans. It's a journey filled with stereotypes, some funny, some flattering, and some that might make you think twice. We'll explore the good, the bad, and the sometimes hilarious stereotypes that shape these views. From the idea that all Americans are loud and brash, to the belief that they are incredibly friendly and open-hearted. Get ready to laugh, learn, and maybe even see ourselves in a whole new light. Let's go! By understanding how others see us, we can better understand ourselves and the world we live in. So, buckle up for an enlightening and entertaining ride. One thing that really stands out is how much Russians know about American culture. They see it everywhere. Hollywood movies, popular music, fast food chains. American culture has a way of making itself known around the globe. The American dream, the idea that anyone can achieve success through hard work, is something Russians have heard a lot about. Some admire this optimistic outlook, while others see it as a bit naive. Think about it. The bright lights of Times Square, the stories of self-made millionaires, the image of endless opportunity. It's a powerful narrative. But how realistic is it, really? That's a question many Russians ponder. Americans are often seen as a paradox. On one hand, there's the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, the innovation of Silicon Valley, and the sheer abundance of, well, everything. On the other hand, there's the fast food culture, the obsession with reality TV, and a perceived lack of depth or history compared to older cultures like Russia. It's like Americans are always living life in the fast lane, for better or for worse. This go big or go home mentality can be both intriguing and a little baffling to Russians. One of the biggest differences Russians notice is the emphasis on individualism in America. Americans are often seen as independent, self-reliant, and very direct in their communication. While Russians also value personal freedom, there's a stronger emphasis on collectivism and community. Family and close-knit circles play a huge role in Russian society. This difference in cultural values can sometimes lead to misunderstandings. For example, Russians might find Americans to be overly concerned with personal space or a bit too eager to express their opinions. Section 5. Lost in Translation, Navigating Language and Humor. Language barriers, of course, add another layer of complexity. While many Russians learn English in school, there's often a gap between textbook English and the way Americans actually speak. Humor, too, can get lost in translation. American humor, with its sarcasm and pop culture references, can be hard to grasp for those who didn't grow up immersed in it. And let's be honest, sometimes American humor can be a bit much, even for other Americans. Imagine trying to explain a Seinfeld episode to someone who's never experienced the joys of double-dipping a chip. It's a recipe for confusion, but also a chance for some good-natured laughs. Section 6. Putin, Politics, and Perceptions. Let's address the elephant in the room, politics. Politics is a subject that often divides people, stirs emotions, and creates heated debates. It's no secret that US-Russia relations have been strained, to put it mildly. The tension between these two powerful nations has been a focal point of international politics for decades. This political climate inevitably colors how people in both countries view each other. The media plays a significant role in shaping these perceptions, often highlighting conflicts and disagreements. Some Russians may hold negative views of America based on its foreign policy or media portrayals. These portrayals can paint a picture of America as a nation that imposes its will on others. They might see America as overly aggressive on the world stage or too quick to intervene in other countries' affairs. This perception is fueled by historical events and ongoing military actions. Others may separate their views on American politics from their opinions of everyday Americans. They recognize that governments and their citizens are not always aligned in their beliefs and actions. They might admire American innovation, culture, or simply the right to disagree with their government. The influence of American technology, entertainment, and education is undeniable and often appreciated. The point is, it's complicated. People's views are shaped by a myriad of factors, including personal experiences, media consumption, and historical context. Politics are deeply personal, and it's important to approach these conversations with sensitivity and an open mind. Understanding the nuances and complexities of these relationships can lead to more meaningful and respectful dialogues. Section 7. Babushkas and Burgers. Anecdotes from the front lines of cultural exchange. The best way to understand a culture is to experience it firsthand. Immersing yourself in the daily lives, traditions, and customs of another culture can be both enlightening and transformative, and sometimes those experiences lead to hilarious and heartwarming anecdotes. These stories often become cherished memories that highlight the beauty of human connection. I once heard a story about an American tourist in Russia who was invited into a local family's home for dinner. This unexpected invitation turned into an unforgettable evening. They showered her with hospitality, plying her with delicious homemade food and endless cups of tea. The table was laden with traditional dishes, each one more delectable than the last. The only problem? She didn't speak a word of Russian, and they didn't know any English. It seemed like a recipe for awkwardness, but it turned into something magical. Despite the language barrier, they managed to communicate through laughter, gestures, and the universal language of food. They used hand signals, facial expressions, and even a translation app to bridge the gap. By the end of the night, they were hugging goodbye like old friends. The warmth and kindness they shared transcended words. Stories like this remind us that beneath the cultural differences, there's a shared humanity that connects us all. These moments of genuine connection show that no matter where we come from, we all seek the same things: love, friendship, and understanding. Section 8. Mythbusters debunking stereotypes about Americans. Of course, no conversation about cultural perceptions would be complete without addressing stereotypes. Stereotypes are like those annoying rumors that just won't go away. One common stereotype is that Americans are all loud, obnoxious, and walk around wearing American flag clothing. While there's no denying that Americans can be a passionate bunch, this stereotype is a gross exaggeration. Another stereotype is that Americans are ignorant of the world beyond their borders. While it's true that some Americans may not be as geographically savvy as others, this stereotype ignores the millions of Americans who are globally curious, well-traveled, and eager to learn about other cultures. Section 9. Two sides of the coin. A balanced look at Russian perceptions. So what's the verdict? Are Russian perceptions of Americans mostly positive or negative? The truth is, it's a mixed bag. Some Russians admire American values like freedom of speech, entrepreneurial spirit, and the pursuit of happiness. They might see America as a land of opportunity and innovation. Others might view America as too individualistic, materialistic, or obsessed with superficial things. They might criticize American foreign policy or worry about the influence of American culture on their own. The key takeaway is that generalizations are never fair or accurate. Just like any large and diverse group of people, there's a wide range of opinions and perspectives within Russia. Section 10. Building bridges, one conversation at a time. The most important thing, as with any cross-cultural exchange, is to approach each other with curiosity, respect, and a willingness to listen. Instead of focusing on our differences, let's look for common ground. We both value family, we both love a good laugh, and we all want a better future for ourselves and our children. By engaging in open and honest dialogue, we can break down stereotypes, challenge our own biases, and build bridges of understanding. Section 11. A final thought. Embracing curiosity and understanding. So, the next time you hear someone cracking jokes about Americans or any other culture, remember this: behind every stereotype, there's a real person with their own unique story. Let's choose curiosity over judgment, empathy over indifference. After all, the world is a much more interesting and vibrant place when we embrace our differences and celebrate what makes us human. And on that note, I'm out of here. Stay curious, my friends.